Welcome to Deep Thought. A relationship can change history. Now, my previous podcast talked about the I versus we relationships. And this is one of the reasons, even though it gets on my nerves at times, that I stick with relationships, because a relationship coming together and the quality of it can actually change history, and it can actually create either positive or negative reality in two ways. The first way is whether or not a person is with the right person. I'm going to tell you something, and I've said this. And I've said this with regard to men, but it also is with regard to women. A person will only go as high as their mate allows them to go, right? Say you have a man, right? We'll use the name Adam, That's originally what it meant anyway, right? So Adam, right? He meets this woman, Betty. He gets in a relationship with her and everything, right? Now, see, Adam was a real talented type of man. He was that man who could, he just had ideas. He had ideas. He's a serial entrepreneurial type, right? And he's that type, if you just kind of sit back and let him go, he could actually create businesses for thousands of people. He can do some stuff that would actually impact millions of people, right? So, he's with Betty and everything, and he never reaches that potential. And the reason why he doesn't reach that potential, because Betty doesn't nurture that side of him. See, him and Betty get together, right? And they eventually get married, they in love and everything. But see, Betty, she's not entrepreneurial. She wants to be safe. She wants that dude to have that steady job. So every time he talks about getting, doing something or get some business idea or something, she's like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. And in fact, Betty makes a point of getting pregnant. So now she got a child. She said, well, no, you gotta stay working. You gotta stay on that steady job, right? And then, even when he comes up with a plan maybe to do the job and like work on a business, she say, oh no, she always comes up with something she needs. See, Betty's in it. She got an odd relationship. It's like her and, her children, so she worried about her needs. She's worried about being safe instead of, thinking long term, like, oh, wait a minute, Adam could probably create something to make us millionaires. She's content. Let me say that again. She's content to live ordinary. She's content as long as she got, she got a roof over her head. She can go hang out with her family on the weekends, go to cookouts and everything. She can, she's good. She don't have a concept of, living, really helping other people. Because she don't have that mindset, right? And so she don't have a concept of like encouraging her husband. So, you know what? Adam goes, he keeps working hard, but he eventually, he eventually has an affair. He eventually has an affair. He gets caught, She divorces him, She gets a very good child support, alimony, and all that stuff, And next thing you know, Adam's living in some like efficiency somewhere. Not even efficiency, some room somewhere with some other similarly situated men, all paying child support and stuff. But the thing, he becomes depressed and everything, and he just lives out his days, seeing his kids every other weekend, at some neutral place because he don't want to bring them in the house with the other guys, right? But that's the nature of it. All that potential is lost. Now, let's rewind it a bit. See, Adam had met Betty at a party, right? He had met her, it was a friend's party, old school house party, right? But we going to get into a parallel universe situation. The night that Adam had to go to that party, something came up with one of his family members, so he had to go help him out. So he missed that party, thus he missed meeting Betty. Right? And he takes care of everything with the his family and everything. Everything turned out all right. So it's all well. He don't know what he missed. So, he goes, he just keeps doing his thing, and he's working on his businesses and stuff, right? Because he didn't meet Betty at a certain time, he wouldn't get in a relationship for another 6 months. He's just by himself. But then during that time, since he doesn't have to entertain Betty, he's able to start working on different projects. And he starts working on a project. He starts work. You know what? I'm going to use an example from Insecure. He starts working on an app, right? So nobody's bothering him. He can just do his thing, right? And then, he's still working on it when he meets, let me think of her name, Alicia, right? So he meets Alicia and everything, and, they talk, and Alicia's different. See, Alicia thinks in terms of we relationships, So she meets him, and she's kind of entrepreneurial herself, right? So, because she's come from a family of entrepreneurs. So she's thinking about stuff to get into. So she meets, Adam, and they click, right? Now, they get together after about a year. They get engaged. Another 2 years, they get married. Now, the whole time, they both working on businesses, but they working on it together. And in fact, because he's working on an app, he actually gets that off the ground. Makes a little bit of money. But then also Alicia, she was working on some stuff too. And, Adam looks at her and say, you know what? I think we can make an app out of this. All right. And so he got 2 apps now. They working together. All of a sudden, everything else started opening up. Some money coming in. So he started working on some other projects. They working together. Now, even though they have kids and everything, hey, they make it work. They make it work. All of a sudden, he's a millionaire. Well, they are a millionaire because it's we, right? But because he did that app, because he helped get her stuff off the ground too, all of a sudden, other people are being empowered. People being empowered by an app because she wanted to do an app with, like spiritual type of quotes and everything. Right. So she's making a difference in people's lives. And then he had an app for, I don't know. I don't even feel like trying to make up one. But he has an app that's affecting people's lives. And then they get into some other businesses. They able to expand. They able to give other people jobs, help economically empower them. Right. And everything just from those apps actually like have a cascading effect on everything else. Right. See, understand with a relationship, you can open up other portals for other things to come about just with the right thing. Think about how many portals that Bill Gates opened up or Steve Jobs. Look how many business industries were created. If you got the right business or right thing, you can create whole industries. And it's not even just business. Say he was a minister, right? Struggling minister, right, at first. Or say because he didn't get with Alicia, but he got with another woman, Dorothy, right? Because even with the business and everything, see, he was a serial entrepreneur. One thing about them, they tend to have interest in different areas. See, during this whole time, he's very devout, going to church and everything. He gets called to the ministry. He meets Dorothy. Dorothy, she that first lady type. All of a sudden, she says, hey, baby, you know what? I got you. We can start a ministry and stuff. He starts it in his living room, but because she's supporting him and she got that relationship, the relationship is good. And because she's thinking about he eventually starts a big church, maybe even a movement that affects people on another level. Not only does he spiritually feed them, but then he does stuff like start businesses, have business seminars. He's helping the homeless. He's impacting millions of people again, all because of the right relationship. Now, see, those are 2 relationships, Dorothy and Alicia, where he's doing something positive. But with Betty, he's sitting in a room somewhere, slowly dying. So that relationship, the right relationship, can open up something that can affect millions of people. Especially when you look at the we idea. It's we. But then the wrong one can keep that person locked up. You know? Because I can look at that in my own life. I can actually have a graph of what I'm doing according to not only to who I'm in a relationship with, but the quality of that relationship. You know? And I'm not going to get too deep into that because then it get some personal if I put my stuff out there. But here's the thing, too. Now, that's one aspect of it. How a relationship can change history, right? There's another aspect. Let's go back to Adam and Betty. They have some kids, right? Now, because of the lifestyle and everything, and then because of some trauma from, the divorce and everything, those kids don't grow up to be what they could have been. They ordinary. It's not like they bad, but they ordinary. But then you get some situations where they kids could also turn out to get in trouble and everything, right? But that's because they were, they were born in that situation and everything. Now, check it out. Here's where we get a little deep. Okay, so both in a reality where Adam is with Alicia, and in a reality where Adam is with Dorothy, they have children. He has children with them. But in both those realities, it's different type of children born. But like in a reality where he has children with Alicia, those children grow up to become. Those are children that grow up to whereas their parents were able to make millions. Those children grow up to make an even bigger impact and take the company and make billions, thus affecting other people, just affecting millions of other people. In fact, because they had children, Adam and Alicia, their children will grow up, particularly one of them, will do some like historic things that will change the quality of life and affect the quality of life on Earth for 1,000 years. And that'd be through some type of invention or business idea or something like that. Or you look at if Adam had ended up with Dorothy, in that reality. Now he went to spiritual path, started a church organization, everything, So of course he raising children in the church, right? But because of that background, one of the children, they study religion, spirituality. They come up with a whole new system or a new way of doing it. And they start a movement that ignites the world. See how that works? Now, because of circumstances, two different women, what happens is a relationship's help millions of people. But then in another one, they help no one. And hold up. Let me get even deeper. Say another reality, Adam, and with that birth thing, Adam marries Felicia, right? But that relationship, yeah, he does some things, but he's dark side with it. Think about it. He's dark side. Like she recognizes his entrepreneurial ability. Right, but she's like, she come from a shady background, so she say, hold up, you can make some money doing this, that, and the third, some criminal shit, right? But then when they have a baby's born in that, and the child follows in the footsteps, starts doing a lot of things that lead to a lot of evil being done in the world. It's like boom. See, think about something. Moses, Jesus. Even before Moses and Jesus, Imhotep, Confucius, Buddha, Muhammad. What's the history of the world if their parents never got together? And go with me on this one. I know what the thing with Jesus is the, divine birth and everything, but what if that didn't happen? Think about it. What if these people who've changed history were never born? What if Hitler was never born? Will we be talking about alt-right now? Think about it. What if shoot, Obama. I know people have this and that issue with him, but, what if Obama's father said, you know what, I ain't messing with that white woman? Think about every single person that's made a difference in the world. Think about it for a second. What if their parents never got together? Would y'all be here at this moment right now? I've had a lot of people, I'm going to use myself. And I ain't saying this out of conceit or anything. I'm just saying, a lot of people say, hey, Rom, you helped me out. Uncle Rom, you did this or that. But what if the relationship between my mother and father never happened? And then even myself, I'm a miracle baby. Because my mother had, I ain't going to get into it publicly, she had some issues with her womb. So, she had some stuff that it's a miracle I was even conceived. As my father said, I must have really wanted to come. So would y'all be listening now? And look, how many people have been affected by my books? Like one thing with my books, yeah, there's a lot of men who've gotten better relationships and even women who've gotten a better perspective. But there's also a lot of men who went on to do other things. Like I got one guy, he's a DJ, but he's also a radio host. How many people would not have been affected if he never read my book? Or another guy, he's just doing a whole bunch of things, a Renaissance man. What if he never read my book? Right? You see how that works? Or what if Napoleon Hill was never born? And because I quote from him a lot. Or I quote a gentleman, Master Yao Yamache Morris. Right? What if the relationship that caused him to be born was never born? Because a lot of my work is influenced by him. So would I be talking about that? Or if I was even existed, would I be talking about something else? Everybody listening to this, think about the people in your life who made a difference. They don't necessarily have to be that millionaire. What about that favorite grandmother or grandfather? What about that favorite grandfather or uncle or something who took you under his wing and, told you about life or anything? How would your life be if he wasn't there? Think about, look, everybody listening to this, think about every person that's made an impact in your life. Every single person, no matter how small, and think, what if that person wasn't there? That's how powerful relationships are. You with the right person, you can rise. You with the wrong person, you can fall, and that fall could affect millions of other people. How many people were born simply because the right people got together? Or another thing, how many people weren't born because the two people that should have came together never came together? Think about that. Think about how much opportunity was missed. Because it's so much. Because not only are those people born, but they making decisions. My mentor, he pointed out something. He pointed out two things. He said the history of the world might have been different if a queen in Kemet, or Egypt for people who are not familiar with the term Kemet, had made it with the right man. He said the Roman Empire might not have existed. That's how deep. And this was centuries before the Roman Empire got powerful. Because a queen, got a guy because he was cute. And he's not sure about the queen's name, but he was able to trace it back. But because some guy was cute, she didn't mate with the right guy, and it led to the fall of Kemet. Or another example used was how the Christian religion that we know today came about. It really came about with Constantine. And he said there's about 20 relationships there, just a few people who brought it about. Think about that. That's powerful. You look at every movement, you can trace it down to maybe a few people who, if they made different decisions, wouldn't have happened. Even with the Christian religion, with Protestants, what if Martin Luther just decided, I'm good with how the Catholic Church do everything? Or what if his parents never came together? And then, and with every relationship, it's because some other people were in relationships. See, one thing, and I had to do another video on this, everything is connected. In fact, I'm going to do the next thing on that. Everything is connected in this The actions of one has a ripple effect, good or bad. Anyway, I want y'all to think about everything I just said. So it's powerful. That's why like a relationship choice is very powerful. Anyway, that's it for today. Keep rising and transforming. Peace.